Okay, hey everybody, Jed with Demlow Productions back with you. I'm going to do a quick tutorial today on a top lining track that I just created called Faded, and it's a pretty stripped down track. You can find it on BeatStars under JSD Tunes. And so I just wanted to real quick talk about how I used Studio One to do the mix on this. So if we look at the first thing that I have here, I've got these stomps, and if we look at the EQ, I wanted a really dark sound for this. So I used these stomps, and I used the low pass filter and cut off all that. You can hear that high end. I wanted to get rid of that, so I just used a filter to get rid of that, and then I cut off a little teeny bit of the real lows, just to kind of clean that up a little bit. So Studio One users, new people, your low cut and your high cut filters here are two of the really handy things that you can get control of your sound really quick. If you're looking for a really bright sound, then you're probably not going to use that, and you're probably actually going to, use maybe a shelf and turn your high end up a little bit, on something. But for this track, I'm going for a dark sound. So that's pretty much what I did on the stomps. Let's go to the bass. Now, once again, you can see that I've colored everything. All of my percussion type stuff here is blue. The bass is brown. The closest thing I had to a kick drum was the stomps, so I put the bass right up next to that so I can listen to them together. Okay. Now on the bass, I just wanted to control the low end a little bit. I used this Pro EQ that comes with Studio One, and I just used, this low cut filter. And, just took down the very low end of that bass. Like I left it like starting around 100 and then just let the curve do its thing. So that helped out on that. And then I wanted to control it. Turn it up a little bit. The transients and smooth it out a little bit. So I just used the compressor that's built right into Studio One. And if you go to the threshold, you can really clamp down on it. You can see that. But I kind of wanted to just touch it a little bit. Your ratio's right here. I wanted it about a 2-to-1. Looks like I went just a little bit more aggressive on it than that. And then the attack and release I set. What I did was I went to a preset. If we go to the guitar presets and I just pulled up Electric Bass 1, and it worked really nicely. I needed to adjust the threshold a little bit, and I adjusted the ratio a little bit, and that was it. It did what I wanted it to do. It started sounding, nice and controlled and full right away, and that's what we're after. You want it to sound good. If it sounds good to you, then that's what it is good. That's what you want. The claps, I just, here again, I've talked about this black hole plugin on other tutorials that I've done. This thing is killer. It's fun. Eventide, check it out. If you're looking for atmospheric type reverb effect type thing, it's just great. Now what you can see what I did here. And let me show you real quick. If you're new, you can go up here with your pencil and you can highlight a section and then turn on down here, you can turn on the loop feature. So it'll just keep on looping. And if I wanted to hear that over and over again like that, I could make it, just a little, I can make it even quicker here. Just enough to hear that tail. Okay, so again, I wanted to, I wanted to get rid of the low end, and I wanted to control some of the high end. So I just used these filters. Let's hear what it sounds like without. There's a lot of nastiness and low resonant stuff going on there. So I used this low cut, and it just got rid of it. Then on the high end, it's a little bright. That's with, here's without. You can hear all that fizziness. And again, I wanted this to sound dark, so I'm purposely cutting off high end to get that effect. Then the percussion, looks like I like that just the way it is. So I left that alone. The shaker, turn off that loop. Now the shaker here, let's just turn off the low cut and the high cut, and we'll do the same thing. Take a look at it. Now, some of you might want that real low end in your shaker. I didn't. I really cut it, so it's real high endy and crisp up there, which is what I wanted. And then I also cut off a lot of the high end. That's without. Here's with the cut. I mean, I super cut this thing down. That's all I wanted to hear. Okay, so that's what I did on that. All of these EQ things have purpose, and you got to use your ears. You have to use your concept of what it is you're going for, and you have to use your ears and just work it until it gets to the point where you like the way it sounds. Now on this piano, I really like this drip plugin, DRIP. You can find it. It's cheap too. I think it's only like, I don't know, maybe $49. And it's really cool on anything, really. Guitar, keyboards, strings. I haven't tried it on vocals yet, but check out Drip. It's got all kinds of cool presets, and I really like this lo-fi one. So let me turn it off. Let's just listen to the piano the way it is. I added the drip. And it's just a very subtle. Here, I'll turn it up. Now you can really kind of hear the detuning sound of it. And I took it all the way down to like 10%. Now, the EQ. Let's take a look at the same thing. Let me turn it off. It's not drastic on this, but if you hear the low cut, once again, I shaved off some of that low end. Now, the reason why I do that on my piano is because I want to make room for that bass guitar. I don't need all that muddy piano sound in there. As a matter of fact, it's not going to sound good with my bass. It's going to be too much. Hear how muddy it got right away? So, hear how that cleaned it up? It just made room for the bass guitar. And then I used the high cut on it. Because I wanted it to sound just slightly darker. There's not a lot going on up there around, 10K. So it's just a very subtle effect on that. But these are the EQ moves that I'm using, to create a dark sound. Let's take a look at the Wurlitzer here. Let's listen to it without the low cut. Once, hear it. Okay, now I'll put it in. See how it cleaned up that low end? And again, with the bass, let's turn the low cut off and listen to the bass. Hear how muddy that's just, it's very muddy. See how it cleaned it up? Now, it's important that you think about using your low cut or your high pass filter, same thing, because you want your mixes to sound clean. And if you don't use filters on your bassy stuff, guitars, pianos, strings, what have you, you're going to get a bunch of buildup once you have 3, 4, 5, 10 tracks, and all of a sudden all of your headroom down there is eaten up, and it sounds really muddy, and you don't want that. You want a nice clean sound. So use your low cut or your high pass filters to clean stuff up. You can hear what I did. I think I printed the effect, but I used the analog delay on this Wurlitzer, which was really cool. Let's go to view and track list, and let's see. Let me pull it up and see if it's still there. Yeah, it's right here. Let's go ahead and I'll show this to you. This is really cool. Let's go to unmute. I wish they had a keystroke for unmute, but they don't. You have to do it up there. So let's just solo that, and let's go. Show you what I did here. I like this little radiator sound from Sound Toys. It's a preamp, and it gives it a little beef. Let's listen to it with it. Oh, we're going to have to go here. Yeah, you can just tell how it thickens it up. Okay, and now let's go to this analog delay. Now, I use Echo Boy all the time from Sound Toys, and I love it. But man, this analog delay, I A/B'd them, and this thing sounds just as good as that Echo Boy does. It really does. It sounds fantastic. And it's actually maybe a little bit thicker, so I kind of like that. As a matter of fact, I guess this could be kind of interesting for people. Let's turn the analog delay off, and let's listen. We'll do basically the same thing that I've done with the other one. Mix is a little bit thicker. That's the Echo Boy. Now let's listen to the analog delay. I've got the low cut, but wow. I really like the distortion too that's on the repeats. So that's the analog delay, which sounds really cool. Here's the Echo Boy. Listen to how close that is. And the Echo Boy is $200. Okay, that's the price on the Echo Boy. Analog delay comes with Studio One. Talk about value. I mean, that's great. So anyway, that's how I did that. We can disable that track, and then we can hide it, and that's what I like to do. So anyway, I printed that sound, right out of the gate on the Wurlitzer. A lot of times I'll print those sounds. If I love the way it sounds, I go ahead and print it. And then I use the low cut on that, and that gave me, the sound that I was looking for. The acoustic guitar. Let's take a look at that. I got a little acoustic going on here in the chorus. Solo that. Here again, I got rid of all that mud. You can hear the difference when I engage that low cut filter. Take it off. Let's put it back on. You can hear how clean that got. And then up here, I just used a shelf because I didn't want to kill the high end. See, I got a lot of high end going on way up top, 10, 12K up in the air section. So, I mean, if I just use the high cut, all of a sudden gets just kind of mid-rangey, and that's too much. So I didn't want to use the high cut. Instead, I used the shelf, okay, the high EQ here. And see, you can adjust this to give it, you know, what you need it to do. So I used the shelf just to pull it down a little bit. You can hear brighter there. And that just shaved off enough. Let me turn it off. Hear how bright that got on top? Turn it on. So that's pretty much all of the tracks. Okay, so I used all Studio One effects and EQ effects, all that stuff. It was all native on this, which is really cool. If you're watching this and you are looking to buy a DAW or invest, take a good strong look at Studio One Professional 5.3. It is a tremendous value. So I love it. Real quick, let's go to the master bus and I'll just show you. Now we're going to get out of Studio One effects here. I love this sunset sound. It's by T-Rax, Studio Reverb. Okay. And they've modeled several rooms that are in Sunset Sound. One of them is the one that was Prince's favorite room. It's Studio 3 right here, the live room. Let's listen with. That's a lot more than I would want to use. Let me go back to my... There we go. That's where I like it. And you can engage the high pass filter here. If you don't want that going into your, you know, your bass, your kick, you can really cut those frequencies out. Now everything from 1K and up would be affected, and everything below that would not. Okay, the next thing I have is this Neve 33609 compressor, which is killer. And I literally just love the way this thing sounds as soon as you put it on the track. Let's listen. This is without. Let's turn it on. It just gives you a really nice separation, a little bit of punch and clarity. And you can see it's just touching it. I'm not doing much of anything. It just sounds great. That is pumping into an Ampex ATR 102 tape machine, which this thing goes on almost everything that I produce. Unless it's a really, really poppy track, and then I usually won't use it. But this thing sounds great. And I'm using a mastering setting on it. Just remember to turn the hiss off. That is now going into an Oxford inflator. Excuse me, which is acting a little weird right now. I have to check that out and figure out why. If anybody has seen a shaky plugin like this and you know what's happening, please comment and let me know. That would be awesome. You could help me out as I try to help you out. I used a preset on this and then tweaked it, but I like that 100% effect. It just kind of brings everything up. Check out the Oxford inflator. It's hard to explain what it does, but you slap it on a track and experiment with it, and I like the sound of it on certain things. Then I use the ozone, and mainly just for the maximizer on this, and a little bit of dynamic EQ to make up for the maximizer. And then this is something I'll show you. I use this all the time on every mix. Tonal balance, isotope, tonal balance control. What this is, a little plug-in. These boxes show you, they analyzed thousands of hit songs, and then they made a general settings that were common with all of them, common ground, and then put it in a plugin so that when you run your track through it, it gives you an idea of where you are. It's got a fine view and a broad view. Now, you'll notice that the high mid has got nothing. Well, it's because there's no vocals. That's why it's doing that. I usually like it, my bass running right around the top for me, for the kind of music I produce. I know if it's right around in this area, it's really good. The high end, if it's not going above, I know I'm in good shape. So my high end on this, my low mids, everything looks really good on this. Let's go back to our EQs and let's disengage all of the high filters, just so we can see what the difference is and what it sounds like. Piano, that one probably won't make much difference, but the Whirly didn't have any, and then the AC, acoustic AC. Well, we'll leave that one alone, but just show the high filters. Now let's go back, play it through. Look at my tonal balance. Look what that high's doing. See, it's showing you that, see, I can just undo this. I can also hit Control Z, but I want to make sure that I'm, okay. All of these should be back to normal now where they were. Yeah, we're good to go. Anyway, that tonal balance control, if you don't have some isotope stuff, you might want to take a look at picking it up. It's great to keep you going in the right direction on your mixes. Watch, that's going to come right down. Now that those high pass, or sorry, the low pass or the high cut filters are engaged, I'm right where I need to be. And as you mix, you'll start to learn, that shakers, hi-hats, percussion, claps, all kinds of stuff can get really built up on the high end, and you're going to want to control that. Same thing on the bottom end. You're going to want to control the lows. Use your EQs to clean everything up. So that's about all I have on this one. I hope this has been helpful for any new people, if you're using Studio One or if you're just new to producing in general. Please subscribe to the channel and leave me any questions that you have. It'd be great to get some questions. I've just recently got some new subscribers, so thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. This has been very fun and exciting for me, and I hope that I can help some folks out there. I do live in Nashville. I'm a producer, and my main thing is I do singer-songwriter tracks, and I do top-lining tracks and country beats. So I'm real big into the country music scene, so I produce a lot of country music, country pop music. So if you're a songwriter, singer-songwriter, or if you know any singer-songwriters, please look me up at JDP.com. I'm also on BeatStars and under JSD Tunes. JSD Tunes on BeatStars.com, and I'm on Jet Tracks. All of my country top lining tracks are on JetTracks.com. So that'll be it for today, and I'll be talking to you again real soon.